Hi, Facebook friends. Helen Archontou here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her. I am so happy to spend some time with you today. It's been a minute, but really good reason to come back and chat with you today, and really important day to come chat with you. Let's see. I'm a voter. I hope you are too. It's a club we all should be in. It's if you haven't done yet, you got till 8 p.m. to get out and figure out where your polling booth is. We'll put in the chat for you how you can get that information. And we hope after you watch the broadcast, you get out and do that if you haven't done it yet. It's also really fitting that we're having this conversation today because we're chatting about the Teaneck International Film Festival, which we all know is the film festival with a social conscience for sure. And so voting day is very important, I know, to their leader, Jeremy Lentz, who's with us today as well. So it's perfect conversation to be having. As you all know, the YWCA is a longtime supporter, partner, and friend to the Teaneck International Film Festival. We are like-minded in our mission, and every year we always try to identify some films that are linked to our work and sponsor them and participate in the film festival. And this year, every year I say, wow, the films are so aligned, but here we are again with two amazing films that we get to bring to you as our part of the film festival. But the entire film festival is totally worth your time. And we are going to talk a little bit about that today. This year, we are sponsoring Daughter of Mine and Politics is a Mother. And Raising Hell is part of the job. If you are not familiar with TIFF, as I said, they always have these amazing, imaginative, full feature films, documentaries, shorts, a whole mix, and always a variety of cultures. And they've been around for over 20 years. And we are so lucky that we have such a gem right in our backyard in Bergen County. It's wonderful. You don't have to travel far, but you're going to have an amazing experience. Daughter of Mine, one of the films that we are sponsoring at the YW, is about a local Bergen County story. If you've been around our area, it's something that over the years you've probably seen in the news. A 7-year-old girl, Joan D'Alessandro, who is from Hillsdale, New Jersey, disappeared back in 1973, and she was murdered by her neighbor. Her mother really, as mothers do, and I think that's really one of the amazing messages of this film, she just stepped in and started a movement on behalf of her daughter, bringing awareness around the threat of murders, the threat of the impending release, as well as supporting other families who've been through losing their children to violence. And so today I'm so thrilled to not only have the wonderful Jeremy, the executive director of TIFF, with us, but also the New York City-based filmmaker Vanessa Martino, who is the director, producer, editor, and cinematographer of the award-winning documentary Daughter of Mine. The film premiered at the Hamptons Doc Festival in 2023. So welcome to you both. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Of all days, right? It's a good day to be talking about this because there actually ended up being a lot of policy connected to this movement that Rosemary started. But Valerie, let's start with you and just talk about what compelled you to bring this story to the screen. It happened a while ago, and I think Joan's family really have not allowed it to be allowed her life to be forgotten. For sure, she's got a strong rooted legacy. But as a filmmaker, how did it end up in your eye to bring to the screen?
So I grew up in the town in which it happened. I grew up in Hillsdale, New Jersey, long after 1973, of course. But what Rosemary did was she became this local figure, this hero. I don't think that there's a person in town who doesn't know about Joan and her story, and that's due to the fact that Rosemary persisted in keeping this case in the press. And so I'm an artist and filmmaker in New York, and I had always thought about this story. It was something that always stuck with me. And I never really understood why somebody hadn't made a documentary on Rosemary yet. And it was such a fascinating story and tragic one. Um, it was in the New York Times. It really shocked the area in the 70s, and the parole battle that went on for 30 years. It's just something that was pervasive, I felt, in the culture where I grew up. And so I felt like Rosemary's story needed to be told, and I had a vision for it that I felt maybe hadn't been done yet or done before. She was always in the news and in that kind of broadcast medium, but I kind of wanted to get deeper into the aspect of what it must be like to lose a child, and what mothers are willing to do for their children.
Yeah. And so tell me about that relationship that develops between you as a filmmaker and the subject of your film. I happen to know Rosemary, and she's such a force, and yet she's such a gentle soul simultaneously. She's a real kind of living dichotomy of these, like, two opposing forces. How did that work for the two of you, for your relationship, to really bring her story to light?
Well, yeah, no, I think Rosemary is definitely a dichotomy. She has a lot of spirit. She's tough, but she's also very spiritual and artistic herself, sweet, and yeah, I pretty much sometimes it happens this way, sometimes it doesn't with making documentaries. But I cold called her, I cold emailed her through her website, Jones Joy, through her organization. She very quickly responded to me, and we made plans to have lunch. And I went there and had lunch with her and her two sons, Michael and John, who also appear in the film. And we've started to form our relationship all the way back since 2019, before the pandemic. And of course, we had kind of a year off there, where we couldn't film or develop the project further in 2020. So it took, as it does, time to earn her trust. I can't speak for her, but I think she saw that, look, dozens of people have come in and out of her life and tried to tell this story in one way or another. And I think, to her credit and to her son's credit, um, they they have really good insight to who people are and what their intentions are. And I think she could sense that my intentions were good and pure and artistic, and coming from a place that, I wanted to tell her story as authentically as possible from her perspective. And that trust grew and grew, and I think now we're good friends. But it's always a journey when you are trying to capture some of the most tragic parts of somebody's life, intimate parts of someone's life. I think it's a part of the job, and I'm always learning with each project, and with each subject. It's always different. Rosemary is also very media trained. She's used to being on the news and being interviewed, and that was very helpful to me as an interviewer. She knows the ropes, and that part of it was very nice.
So, Jeremy, I mean, I'm always amazed by the variety of films, each year that make it into the film festival. And I know that there's a really laborious process, to take all the submissions and whittle them down to the ones that we all get to see each year. How did it end up that this film, made it to kind of the final cut of one of the one that we'll be seeing? What made it important for you to include it?
Yeah, it's an interesting story, actually, Helen. Vanessa ended up submitting the film through Film Freeway, and we got the story. Obviously, immediately it sparked appeal because it was a local Bergen County story. And being that we're a Bergen County film festival, we always want to spotlight local stories. But then, we saw that Vanessa was the filmmaker, and the name rung a bell because we had worked with Vanessa in several previous festivals where she had been a producer on some of the really critical films that we spotlighted in previous film festivals, including The Rape of Racy Taylor and Crime on the Bayou, which Nancy Bursky had directed, the late Nancy Bursky. And we had a great relationship. And when we reached out, she said this was her directorial debut, and it just seemed a perfect alignment. And, just obviously one of the things that we do when we program films is not only to pick what we feel is the best of the best and showcase all different kinds of stories, and obviously want to showcase stories about our local area, about Bergen County, about New Jersey, as part of an international festival, but we also work to pair these films with the sponsoring organizations like the YWCA to align these films so that the advocacy work that's being done with respect to like a Jones Law, for example, is raising awareness in the community, and that there is a call to action to take away from it. So I think it really was kismet. And when I talked to Vanessa on the phone, we had this incredible conversation about Nancy and, how much kind of Nancy's vision meant to us, and that, our festival was one of the festivals she envisioned this showing at when she was making this film. So, I think truly kismet.
That's amazing. And what do you think is going to be surprising for people who come to see the film about Joan's story?
Well, I think, there are many people who may not know the story. And I think being exposed to what happened and kind of what a critical case this was, and how it impacted state law in New Jersey and why it's still relevant today, I think will be really impactful for audiences.
Yeah. I agree. And as an organization that's, worked alongside so many of these issues and the D'Alessandro family, and I say this with every mother that steps up into an activist role after their child has been impacted, with some trauma in some way, the generosity of them to take that experience and use it to help others and to create culture shift and change in our communities is never lost on me. And really what she and her sons have brought is it makes me emotional, even saying it, because I know it's been so much for them. And the film is really impactful. So I really hope people come out to see it. And I know that, and I said this to Vanessa before we started. I knew the story for years, but seeing her film and the way that she shared it was just so hauntingly beautiful. And I really do hope that all of you watching, take the time to come join us on Sunday. Not only will you get to see the film, but you'll get to hear from Rosemary and her sons and Vanessa. And, I think it'll be it's an important conversation for us all to have, especially at this time. So, with that, I also want to, also lift up that the YW is also another shero of mine. Senator Loretta Weinberg is the subject of the film Politics is a Mother, and Raising Hell is part of the job that her amazing daughter, Francine, is behind. And it is so exciting, also to be part of bringing that film forward and co-sponsoring with the other amazing organizations. And so we're excited for that as well, which is also on Sunday. To join us to see Daughter of Mine will be at 2:45 at the Puffin Cultural Forum on Sunday, November 10th. And then I say grab a quick dinner and then meet us over at Temple Emmett at 7 p.m. And then you can see Politics is a Mother and Raising Hell as part of the job. The link to purchasing tickets for the film festival will be right here for you in our comments. And you also can learn more about the Teaneck International Film Festival there. We also can put the link here for the film in the comments as well, so that you can kind of stay connected to Vanessa and her work as well. We actually were one of the sponsors on The Rape of Reese Taylor. And it was funny when I went to the screening that Jones Joy did for the film. I was looking at Vanessa thinking, she looks so familiar. Why does she look familiar? It took me a minute. We'll also put the link in here for all of you for Jones Joy, which is the foundation that Rosemary and her sons have created to help take the legacy of Joan and bring so much good into our community. They've been a very strong supporter of the YWCA Northern New Jersey's Healing Space program. And so I'd love for you all to take a look at them and the great events that they do and support them as well. So with that, folks, we look forward to seeing you on Sunday and many other days of the film festival, because there's so many great films. Should I put Jeremy on the spot and ask him, do you have a favorite? Because he can't say that. It's right. Do you have a favorite, Jeremy?
They're all my favorites.
I knew that. Yeah.
They're absolutely all my favorites. But I would encourage people to go to our website at teaneckfilmfestival.org. On the film tab, they can click on the roster and check out the 2024 roster, which includes all of the descriptions, the trailers to the films, who will be on the panels, and they can really do a deep dive into all the films that will be shown, and they can pick out their favorites and what interests them the most, and hopefully come out and show up. And for those people who are not in the Bergen County, New York City area who want to participate in TIFF, we do have a virtual series pass that they can purchase, which allows them to stream 3 films on demand with talkbacks from November 7th to the 14th. And that's only $15. And they can access that as well at the website. So all tickets for both in-person and virtual can be bought online straight through the website.
Yeah, and I say come to it all and then be part of the voting for the winning films, because then you really can be in it to win it for the winning films at the end where they note them.
Absolutely. Shorter of mine will be up for the best short categories. So, we encourage people who participate to also vote for their favorites.
We want you to vote for everything. We just want you to vote in every way, place and space. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us. I do look forward to talking with you more on Sunday and getting into a deeper conversation about the film and your vision and really, as I said, the impact that this film really leaves and the inspiration. And I have to say, I think there's so much in it, but one of the things, as I was watching it that day too, I just want to say, and I know others will feel that when they come to see it on Sunday, is really, again, other mothers who have really had to stand up, for their children or in, their children's name because of what's happened. I think will see themselves, on that screen as well. So.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I'm so excited to be a part of this festival and work with you, Helen. And yeah, it's a special place, Teaneck Film Festival, and I loved taking part in it with previous films, with Nancy's films, and I'm very excited. It's an honor, really.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap it up. And as I said, if you haven't voted, get out there. You have till 8 p.m. And we look forward to seeing you the next time we get together for YWTV. And we hope to see you on Sunday. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.